Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Okay, so as I mentioned, we'll start with the review of the homework very quickly. So yeah, just open to everyone, I suppose, to answer number one. I think number one and number two, number three, pretty much everyone got it right, I would say. But number four is where I guess the confusion starts. So maybe we'll start with number one first.
Muhammadun or Muhammadan?
That's Muhammadun.
So isn't that mansub?
Muhammadun?
Yeah.
Muhammadun is not mansub.
Marfu is with the fatha, isn't it?
No, you got it the other way around.
Other way around.
You got it the other way around.
That's why I got another wrong.
Yeah. So Muhammadun, actually before we go into that, what are the three status? Anyone?
That's
Majrur, majrur. What are the three types of words? Three types of words.
Ism, fail, harf.
With what are the four properties of ism?
status
Gender,
number,
gender.
other than
Good. By default, the status of ism is marfu. Okay. Gender by default it is muzakkar. Okay. Right. So so Muhammadun, I think you probably got it. Yeah. And also some brothers I think getting confused between something being a subject and something being a marfu. Those two should be kind of the same, but some brothers thought that Abbasin is also a subject. It doesn't really say that it is a subject because you're looking at Abbasin, it's actually not a subject anyway because it ends with kasrah, right? It's majrur. So majrur by default is not really subject anyway. So I think some brother got confused. And some brother also say sayaratan is also marfu, which is again wrong because sayaratan is fatah. So should be mansub, isn't it? So marfu, majrur, and then mansub. Okay. Now, number four. This is where things get more interesting, I suppose. There are two answers that I accept. So who wanna try?
Marfu.
Marfu is one. Unknown is the other one. Because it's actually mabni. So just looking at it, you actually can't tell whether it's marfu, mansub, or majrur. But because I said by default, we can assume that something is marfu, I still accept marfu as an answer. Make sense? And then that will make more sense even when we go into the lessons today. Because I'm going to go back into lesson one and I'm going to say why that structure of sentence works. That's what we're going to cover today, inshallah. Okay, so Ahmadu, marfu, majrur, or mansub? Marfu. Bonus question for student who have joined Sheikh Yusuf. Why is it Ahmadu instead of Ahmadun?
Because
Mamnu min as-sarf. Good. Mamnu min as-sarf. Maktab. Maktabin. What's the status of maktabin? Majrur. Dhalika. Unknown or marfu. Same with hada. Okay. We already answered this one. Now this one, I think some people got confused. I think some people depend. Yeah, some thought that I asked about the numbers. I think some people thought that I asked about the what's status. I actually asked the properties, which is the four properties that we mentioned just now. Okay, so I think that one is all okay. Is this a book? How do you translate that into Arabic? Ahada kitabun. I think nobody got it wrong, if I'm not mistaken. But Ahada kitabun. Why is it not kitabu?
Because the interrogative sentences, they do not end with.
So no. You might get confused with something else. So for ahada kitabun, you still end with kitabun. If let's say you ask for, let's say, there's some other rules that we will cover later that would make it not end with tanween, but we will cover that later. But in this case, we are saying, is this a book? The word a book itself is already kitabun, isn't it? Like if you say hadha kitabun, this is a book. This is a book. A book is kitabun, isn't it?
Yes.
So same thing. So it's just like you're adding a in front of it to make it a question. But you're still ending it with kitabun, not kitabu. Okay? I think is that a house? I think some people got it wrong. Either they put hadha, which is not for that. Hadha is for this. So that is, what is that in? Sorry? Dhalika. For muzakkar is dhalika. So and then baitun, I think maybe one brother got it al-baitu, I think. maybe you got it mistaken because he was a bit advanced, so he thought that is the other one. But no, this is not the that rule. So that's actually adhalika baitun. Okay, and who is that? I think everybody got this one right. Man dhalik.
So what's the correct one for number 5?
So how do you say is that first? Dhalika, and then a house. How do you say a house? Baitun.
Azarika Bait.
Adhalika baitun. Yeah, there's no alif lam. Adhalika baitun. I'm not saying is that the house, which that's different. Sorry,
That is Zalika.
that is zalika for mudhakkar. Okay, right. So let's cover the lesson from the homework. We have also quickly reviewed the what we talked about last one. So for this lesson today, I want to cover two things if possible. So one is the type, and the second one is Mubtada and khabar. Mubtada and khabar itself might be a bit confusing, which is why I thought that at least we need one session for it. So first is about the type. So as we said just now, the word has four properties, right? Status, type, gender, number. So in terms of the number, just I'm going to go quickly to the number first. I'll make it a bit bigger. There's my mouse. Okay, so for now, in book one, it is sufficient to know that an Arabic word has a number as well as a property. And an Arabic word can be singular, mufrad, dual, or plural. For book one, meaning for the next, I think, 4 or 5 lessons that we're going to go through, it's all going to be single. So make it a bit simple for us for the time being. When we start to go into book 2, then we're going to start to go into plural and then dual. But for now, everything is going to be singular that we're going to cover in book 1. Okay. So because of that, that's actually quite a simple one for that particular slide. I just say mufrad for now. Now the type. Again, usually what I advise the brothers is that when we look into the Arabic words, think about a word having some defaults. So we say that default is marfu', right, for status. Default is mudhakkar for the gender. For the type, the type of the word by default, assume that it is nakira, which is common. Unless something that is make it ma'rifah, assume it is nakira, just to make it a bit simple. Okay. So what do I mean by something that is definite and something or definite or proper, or something that is indefinite or common? So this is kind of similar to English. So if let's say you say Huram, everybody here knows who Huram is, isn't it? Because it's a specific person. I'm not saying a man, I'm saying Brother Huram. So it's very specific, talking about something proper, something definite. Okay. In contrast, I mentioned just now, if I say a man, nobody here knows who am I talking about. Nobody knows. I'm just saying a man. Like in hadith, let's say for example in hadith say a man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't know who that man is. It's not something specific, isn't it? So that's an example of something that is not specific. So another example is if let's say you want to refer to a specific place. So let's say for example Makkah. Everybody knows what Makkah is, where Makkah is, right? So that one is also something specific already. There's something that is known to anyone that we are talking to, right? So those are some example of something that is very specific. Now, for the proper names like Huram or Makkah, proper name of places, obviously we do not have to add anything to it. We do not have to say the Huram. Doesn't make sense even in English. We do not say the Makkah. Makkah is Makkah. We don't have to add any the in front of it, even in English. Yeah. So what I'm trying to allude to is if something is already proper, you cannot add alif lam into it. You cannot say the Shah. Doesn't make sense at all. You cannot say the Brother Osman. Also doesn't make sense. Something already proper, don't add alif lam into it. So al Muhammadun, totally incorrect.
It's like Al-Makkah, you can't say Makkah.
Sorry.
Al-Makkah, you can't say Al-Makkah.
Well, in certain, just to make it simple for now, I'm saying no. But there will be, because I don't want to like complicate things, but for now, I'm just saying no, okay? Now, the other way, if let's say I want to make something that is just a broad thing, general thing, and make it proper, what I will do is I will add alif lam at the front of it. So if I want to say book, a book is something common, nakira, by default. right? So we have learned hadha kitabun, hadha qalamun, right? Everything is qalamun, mun, without anything that is specifying that it is actually something specific. But to make it specific, you add alif lam into it. So as an example, if you want to say the book, you will say al kitabu. And then the thing that you need to remember, this is very, very important. If you have alif lam in front of a word, at the end, it cannot have tanween. Impossible. There's no scenario at all, no exception that you will have tanween at the end. So just to go back to what you mentioned just now, right? So for
Yeah,
example,
that's what I confused myself.
yes. So the alif lam is the one that make it proper and make it lose the tanween at the end. So Sheikh usually asks this in the class with the seniors. If something doesn't have tanween, he will ask why this one doesn't have tanween. Sometimes some people say mubtada, nothing to do with mubtada, nothing to do with mubtada. Something doesn't have tanween, must be a reason. The first reason that we are learning now is it is alif lam, they making it proper. So as soon as you make something proper, you add alif lam into it. Again, we're talking about common thing, not talking about names. Add alif lam into it and drop the tanween. So instead of it become domatain, the two doma just become one. You drop one. So example here, kitabun, you add alif lam, it'll become al kitabu. Okay. So word that has alif lam can never have tanween. That's the rule. Okay. Now, I also mentioned here, if something is already proper, alif lam cannot be added to it. Later on, I'll just mention this very briefly to the seniors one. Mudaf, as we know, you cannot add alif lam into it. Why? Because it's already proper actually. So that's why mudaf, you cannot have alif lam added to it. It's already proper by position. Mudaf ilayh, mudaf is already proper. So you cannot have you cannot add alif lam into mudaf. That's one of the reasons why you cannot add alif lam into mudaf. For today, what I want to focus on is actually just number number 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4. The other ones we will cover much later in the book. So I mentioned the first one already, right? Alif lam for something that is common. You want to make it proper, just add alif lam to it. So that is in itself a category of a proper word. Second one I mentioned already just now. Name of places, name of person, all of those are proper. Okay. The third one, this is something that we will learn today. Not sure whether everyone know, but if you want to say he, is huwa. If you want to say she, is hiya. Okay. So that's something that we are learning new today. And then the huwa and hiya can be used for both human and also things. If you want to say it, you still use huwa if the thing is actually mudhakkar. If the thing is masculine, you still use huwa. If the thing is feminine, let's say the car, sayyara, because it's end with tamabuta, is feminine, you use hiya to refer to it. Okay, so that's something new that we learned today. And the other one, these are not new words, so to speak. Hadha and hadihi. Sorry, hadihi we haven't learned yet. Hadha and dhalika. So these are actually proper as well. Why is it proper? Because you're actually pointing to something. This, that. You're actually pointing to something. So that's kind of an easy way to remember that it is also something proper.
So the word is proper, but not to the object pointing.
No, yes, the word itself. The word, yes. The word that is proper. But let's say, for example, that book, I'm sorry, that's a bad example. That is a book, that is proper. A book is still not proper. Okay? Now, the reason why this will make a bit more sense when we go into the book 1, lesson 1 even. I'll go to that in a bit. But before we go into that, I need to explain about the Mubtada and Khabar first. So for now, any question about what is something proper and what is something common? Is that clear? Need to be crystal clear about what is proper and what is common before we can move to the Mubtada and Khabar. Okay? Okay, good. Right. Okay, so now I want to go into the skipping towards the end, which is a sentence. So I mentioned in the first lesson that a language is built on letters, words, phrase, and then sentence, isn't it? So far, we haven't learned any phrases yet. Okay, I'm skipping the phrases because the book start with sentence already. So I'm going to skip phrase and go back to it in the next lesson. For now, in Arabic, know that there are two type of sentences. There's jumla ismiyah and jumla fi'liyah. In book 1, we are only learning jumla ismiyah. Ism is from ism, noun. So a noun sentence or nominal sentence, depending on how you translate it. But it's basically a sentence that begin with a noun.
What was the other one?
Fi'al, yeah. So that one, it begins with a fi'al. Begin with a verb. For now, book one, we are only learning noun. Okay. So with that in mind, that's basically the formula, the formula of a nominal sentence or jumlah ismiyah. Jumlah ismiyah, it must always have two components to it. The first one is the subject or mubtada. The second one is what are you talking about? The information about the mubtada, which is khabar. We call it khabar. So mubtada plus khabar equals to jumlah ismiyah. If you don't have any of this, then it's not a sentence. It may be a book title, for example. A book title sometimes just whatever, tree, whatever. But that's not a complete sentence, isn't it? But a complete noun sentence must have these two um, characteristics, yeah, components. So the mubtada and also the khabar. An easy example that we have learned actually in book one, we say hadha qalamun. Hadha, as we have learned just now, is actually proper, isn't it?
Yeah.
And qalamun is actually what do you call that? Nakira, improper and also common, and that's actually the khabar of the mubtada. The mubtada is actually this. That is actually the actual subject of the sentence. You're actually talking about this. Wow, Sheikh Hussein. So what are you talking about, right? I'm talking about this. Okay, what about that? This is a book. Oh, okay, you're telling me that this that you're pointing is a book, or this is a teacher, or this is my sister. So that this that you're pointing, that's actually the subject. That's proper, and then my sister is actually the information of the actual sentence.
So why is this has to be proper or improper?
Yes.
You mentioned.
The reason why is because the next one, number three, the mubtada, the formula that I mentioned just now, mubtada and khabar, right? The mubtada also have to specify other rules on top of being at the beginning of the sentence. Number one, it must be marfu, and number two, it must be proper. So mubtada again is at the beginning of the sentence, must be marfu, must be proper.
So then Haza is marfu. It's not Haza.
Yes, in this case, hadha is marfu, which is why I wanted to. That's the reason why I put that in the exercise, because I wanted you guys to start learning that hadha can actually be marfu, because the sentence structure that we have learned in lesson one, lesson two, hadha is actually at the beginning of the sentence, isn't it? And it's already proper, as we have learned just now. The category, what are the type of proper words? So hadha being proper and being marfu, it can be mubtada. Make sense? So hadha is marfu. You can't see it, but it is actually marfu, and it is in this case it's a masculine as well. Hadha is actually masculine, marfu, and also proper. So let me just make sure that everyone gets that before we move on. So, like I said, I mentioned that every single word in Arabic, ism, they have four properties, isn't it? So what's the status of this word? If let's say I say hadha, sometimes I get confused with the left and right. Where is it now? Sorry, need to delete it. Okay. Hadha qala, no, mun. Okay. So this is a sentence, yeah? Which one is mubtada? Hadha, right? And then qalamun is the khabar. Okay? So what did I say about mubtada? You must have marfu, right? So marfu. What is the type of the hadha? Proper, isn't it? Gender? Masculine. Number? Singular. For now, it's always singular. So now, these are the properties of hadha. Hadha being mubtada, it actually means the status being marfu and the type being proper, which is the rule of something being a mubtada. Make sense so far? Or is it confusing? Yeah. So let's say, for example, let's put another example then.
Not starting with Haza.
Yes, yes. So let's say qalamu maksurun. Sorry, I'm trying to learn where is the actual. Yes.
Yeah, makes more sense.
Okay. This is exactly the same thing. It's just that it's much easier to see because you can see the marfu, the dhamma there. But it's actually the same as the other one. But probably I should have started with this instead of the other bit. So what is the status of al-qalamu? Marfu. What is the status type? Proper. Marifah. Yeah. Number. Gender first. Masculine. Oh, not masculine. Masculine. And then number. Singular. Right? Because right now it's always singular. So, does it meet the criteria of becoming a mubtada? It does, right? Because it is marfu and it is proper. Make sense so far? So that's basically lesson 3. Lesson 3 it is introducing another word to replace hadha. It's just introducing something else. Instead of saying hadha, you're saying al-qalabu, which is still something that's marfu, something that is specific, something is proper. So that's basically mubtada. Any question on the mubtada first before I move on to khabar?
Yes. What about if it's a name first?
Yeah, same thing as well. So let's say if it's a name,
So Khalid.
so if let's say you want to go to Khalid,
Khalid is in the mosque.
No, just Khalid. Khalid in
Khalid is ill.
broken.
Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
Khalid is ill.
Khalid is not here, man. You'll be very upset.
Khalid is Ghani. Khalid is a teacher.
okay, Khalidun. Alright, so Khalidun Mudarisun. What's the translation of that?
Khalid is a teacher.
Khalid is teacher. So this is a noun sentence. Jumlah ismiyah. Again, same thing. What is the status of Khalid? What is the status of Khalid? Marfu. Right? Because it ends with Dhamma. What is the type? Proper. Because Khalid is a name. It's proper. And then what is the gender? Male. Zakar. And then what is the number? Singular. Because Khalid is not plural. Right? It's one Khalid. Again, match exactly. So the status and the type, again, match it being a mubtada. It can be a mubtada because it is marfu and it is proper.
The only difference is that this one will have Dhammatain.
So don't think about Dhammatain or not, which is why the first lesson that I mentioned, when I say marfu, it doesn't have to be Dhammatain or not Dhammatain or whatever. Right? I say that when something is marfu, it can be Dhamma, it can be Dhammatain, or it can also be Fatha, like Musa. That's why I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that when I say marfu, it doesn't always be Dhamma. Not always. Mutashfa is another example, right? Isa,
The subject first.
subject. Yeah, because it at the beginning of the sentence, then it's the subject of the sentence. So you can't see it being a marfu, but later on you will know. But for now, I just want to make sure that for now you know that when you see something that's a dhamma, that's in the beginning of the sentence, that's most likely is the mubtada. But later on we will learn some exceptions. Why something is not having dhamma time or dhamma, but then it is actually the mubtada of the sentence. Okay? Right. So now that's only the mubtada part. Now the second component, which is the khabar. For now, just know that it can also be a fragment, but we will learn that a bit later. I'll come back to this when we have learned like Harf Jarr and things like that. But for now, we're just going to learn that khabar can be a single word, like what we have been doing. Al-qalamu maksurun. So maksurun is just a word, broken, right? So the rule of the khabar, it must be marfu as well. Okay, so maksurun, it ends with the dhammatain, right? And it must be it must match the mubtada in terms of the number and the gender. I repeat that. So go into here, go back. Okay, so I said that the khabar, which is in this case is the mudarisun, right? It must match the mubtada in terms of the number and also the gender. So mudarisun is actually a masculine word. The feminine word is mudarisatun, right? So mudarisun actually match Khalid in terms of the gender. It also match Khalid in terms of the number. Because Khalid, Mudarisun is singular. Mudarisuna is actually the plural. So Khalid is a teacher. So it match. If it doesn't match, then grammatically it's wrong. So that's the rule of Mubtada and Khabar. Again, Mubtada must be marfu and must be proper. And then the Khabar is also marfu and it must match the Mubtada in terms of the number and gender. And for now, we'll see Khabar as something that is common. Because something that is definite then is going to mean something else. So Khabar is common, and then the actual Mubtada, the subject of the sentence, must be proper. Is that clear? Yeah, so that's a Mubtada and Khabar lesson basically. If I go back into the PowerPoint, I got some example in here, but probably some of this.
In Jumla Ismiya, one is common and one is proper.
Jumla Ismiya, yeah. Yeah, so Jumla Ismiya, one is common. The sentence, the start of the sentence, the subject is proper, and the second one is common.
It can't be both.
If it's both, then it's something else. We will talk about that later. But for now, yeah, something like nak manun. It can also be ismu isyarah, musyar ilaih. It could be many things. But for now, for Mubtada and Khabar, simple sentence, it can just be like, it can be like two words. Khalidun, Mudarisun. Done. It's already a sentence in Arabic. Mubtada, Khabar. Finish. Okay, so this one is actually not a good example for some of us because when I was doing this slide, it was actually for the boot camp. So some of the example here is not that good because probably you guys don't understand what are these words. What I'll do, we'll go into the book itself. Gonna go into lesson 3. Lesson 3. Okay. Now, what we see here, that's actually one example that we did already, so I'm going to skip that one. The next one, al-babu maftuhun. So al-babu, status is marfu. Type, proper, right? Proper. Gender, male. And then number, singular. Now, the maftuhun, is it marfu? Yes, it is marfu, isn't it? Masculine as well. It's also singular. It match. Everything match. Okay? Obviously, the type doesn't match because it cannot be proper. Otherwise, then it doesn't make sense for it to be a sentence. So everything match except for the type. Same example. The next one. Al-waladu jalisun. So jalisun is, what is it? Sitting, right? So al-waladu is boy. Status marfu. Type proper. Number singular. And then the gender is masculine. So with practice, like for me, I don't look at that and I'm thinking what is status, type, number, gender, just for now because we are learning. That's why I keep on asking you guys. But as we go along, as we practice more, probably I'm not going to ask that anymore because by default, when you see a word, that's the 4 properties that you already need to think in your mind. What is this one? Is it plural? Is it singular? Is it dual? Is it masculine? Is it feminine? It's something that is already like kind of second nature, inshallah. Okay? So when you go through the lesson, you will see the exact same structure in every of the sentence. Al-himaru saghirun wal-hisanu kabirun. Same thing. Kitabu jadidun. Marfu. Proper, common. Masculine. Singular. Everything is the same. Yeah. So I'm not going to repeat every single one because it's kind of the same thing. But hopefully that makes sense or confusing? No? Hopefully not. Same, okay? Alright. So that's automatically Mubtada and Khabar. Actually, we are doing quite good in terms of timing. I thought that we would take more time for Mubtada and Khabar. Okay. Now, since we have time, I'm going to go back to the slide and let's do some exercise. Oh, actually, this is actually another good one. Okay. I'll mention this as well, actually, so you have a little bit of time. One thing that is very different in Arabic, it doesn't have a word for is or are or was or were. It doesn't have that word. So if let's say you want to say, as we have been doing, right? So we say hada kitabun. The translation, if you just translate it as it is, hada is this, isn't it? Kitabun is book. Where is is coming from? This book. Where is is? There is no is in Arabic. But how you can identify that is actually there, is hidden, is when something is not connected to each other. Later on, we will learn a bit more about phrase, and this one will probably make more sense. But for now, if let's say a word is not connected to another word by phrase, so let's say, for example, for the more senior student, let's say, for example, mudhaf mudhaf ilayh is actually a phrase. Yeah? Now, manun is a phrase. Ismu isyarah, musyar ilayh is a phrase. Okay? Harfu jar is a phrase. All of these phrases, the words are actually connected to each other. When you say in the masjid, it's actually connected. Fil masjidi, isn't it? That two words in Arabic is actually connected. So you don't say in is the is masjid. No, it's all connected. So you say in the masjid. And then for the words that are not connected that we have been doing, like say al-qalamu maksurun, al-qalamu and maksurun is actually not connected. So there's actually a hidden is in the middle. So that's where the is coming from. Otherwise you might thinking why is there an is there? There's no actually word for is. I'll come back to this one when we go into the phrases. But for now, just note that is actually hidden. There's no word for is in Arabic. Okay. So some of the English example that I put in here is, let's say, he is a teacher. So a teacher is mudarrisun, he is huwa. But in the middle, there's actually is to connect the two things because it's actually not connected. Same thing, that is a pen. So dhalika qalamun, right? Dhalika qalamun is just a word by itself. Dhalika is a word by itself. But to connect it, there's actually it is in between. That is a pen. And the cold fridge is new. So the cold fridge is actually, what's the phrase if for the more senior student? Cold fridge is no, I mean the phrase is not manut. It's not
It's not money.
not manut, right? Because it's describing the fridge. The fridge is cold, so it's describing the fridge, adjective of the fridge. So the cold fridge is actually one phrase, and then new. New is actually not connected to the cold fridge, so that's why there's an is in between. The cold fridge is new. And this one is a long one. The student who is in front of the teacher is hardworking. So the student who, that's basically the at-talibu ladhi, right? So that's actually connected as well, at-talibu ladhi. And then in front of the teacher is amaman,
Muhammad Mudarris.
amaman mudarrisi, one phrase. And then hardworking is mujtahidun. So because it's not connected to the in front of the teacher and it's not connected to the student, there's an actually in between. Don't worry too much about Quran and Brother Said will come back to this, but I just want to, I guess, introduce the concept that there is actually a hidden is when Arabic word are not connected, something need to be added so that it is connected to make a sentence. Okay,
And it is always is,
not always. Can be are,
could be are, could be was, could be were.
can be are as well. So let's say the students are hardworking.
What about the tense changes?
That one's kind of different. Not going to go to that one because that's usually related to fi'l because tense, something that has tense, is actually fi'l, isn't it? So that's kind of something different. But we'll talk a bit more in book two.
Okay.
Yeah, just
But
not to
was
confuse.
is also like you said the pen was broken.
There's some other word that we will also learn. That one, I think, uh, in book three. In book three, we will learn that. It's not even book two. Yeah.
So right now only the hidden can be is or are.
For now.
Not even R. We're not in plural.
Can. Well, for book one, yes. Book one, there's no R. Yeah, correct. In book two, there will be R. Yeah, yeah. For book one, it's just is.
Is.
Yeah. Okay. Hoping that that's not too confusing for everyone. Right. So, um, just looking at the exercises. I think this one we haven't really learned half jar. Hmm. Okay. Actually, we're doing good on time. I think what I'll do is I'm gonna go to the first phrase that we will learn in this book, which is Harf. Okay, Harf. Right, I'm gonna go to the slide first. I'm gonna go back up. All right. Um, Now I wanted to introduce this new concept that is called fragments or phrase. So even in English, there's some phrases. For example, in the mosque is actually a phrase as well in a way. So in Arabic, there's actually a couple of phrases that help to explain certain things. For example, if you want to say, if you want to provide an adjective to an ism, so let's say, for example, you want to say beautiful lady, that's actually a phrase by itself, beautiful lady. So there's no is in between, isn't it? So it's actually connected. Beautiful. It's not beautiful is lady. It's not lady is beautiful, which is a different thing. We are saying beautiful lady. So that's actually a phrase by itself. Okay. So the first phrase that we are going to learn, before we go into phrase, I just explain a little bit more. In Arabic, the term is shibhul jumlah. So something like a sentence. Shib, I think, is uh, like something similar. And jumlah is sentence, as we know. So basically, a fragment or phrase is something that is more than a word. So it's not just a single word. It's more than one word, but it's not a complete sentence. So if I say just now, beautiful lady, yes, what about the beautiful lady? You still haven't described, you still haven't provided any information about the beautiful lady. Beautiful lady lets you know that the lady is beautiful, but that's an adjective to the lady. It's still, yeah, it is still not describing, not providing any information or any news about the lady. If you say the beautiful lady is in front of the mosque, then yes, okay, you're saying that the beautiful lady, and there is an is. If you see the English word, the English sentence, the beautiful lady is in front of the masjid. So you know that the is actually connecting it to an information, which is in front of the masjid. Okay. So the other thing that I forgot to mention, in nominal sentence or jumlah ismiyah, another easy way to identify whether something is mubtada or khabar is something that is before the word is usually the mubtada, the subject. So the beautiful lady is, so the subject is actually the lady. In front of the masjid is the khabar because after the word is, right? So the apple is in the fridge. Which one is the subject? Apple, isn't it? Because it's before is. In the fridge is actually the khabar. This because it's after is. So that's also another kind of hint or another tips to identify which one is mutada, which one is khabar. The one before is the subject. The one after is the khabar or information. Okay. So I mentioned already that the word has no is. So these are some of the other example for the just normal English sentence. The car is. So these are all the mutada. The car, all of these are mutada. It's before the word is. Okay. All of the one after it is actually the khabar. And this type of phrase that we are about to learn is called harful jar or huruful jar. Huruf is the plural of harf. So there are four that we will learn in book one. And the first one that we are going to talk about is this one, harful jar. So just some simple exercise. So if I say in the sea, is it a complete sentence or is it a phrase? It's a phrase, isn't it? You haven't said anything. There's not even is there. So it's not a sentence, right? Next one, Book of Hamid is on the wall. Is that a sentence or is it a phrase? Sentence, right? And then the next one, Dhalika min ayatillah. That is from the sign of Allah. Is it a sentence? It is. That's is there. Easy tell, right? So that's actually complete sentence, but the first one is the only one that is a phrase. And that's actually a phrase of Harfujar because it starts with fi. But let's go into the actual lesson. So as I said, there are four fragments that we will learn in book one. And the first one is huruful jar. So what is actually huruful jar? Going back to the previous, sorry? Yeah, preposition. So we go back to the lesson number one. We say there are three types of words, right? Ism, fi'l, and harf. So this is it, harf, the prepositions. So to recap, preposition is something that doesn't mean anything without any word before it or after it. So you want to say tu, TO. To what? Doesn't mean anything at all. Under still can mean something. Where is it? Under. Maybe. Maybe can mean something. But because under is not half. That's the reason why I give an example of under. Or above. Above is also not half. It's actually zarf. Right? If you guys remember for the one that we've learned before. So when we say a preposition, we are saying something like to, from, um, on, and what's the other one? In. And the last one is for, which is la. So if let's say you want to say he is from the masjid, for example, right? So he, as we said just now, is in front of the masjid. I mean, just write because easier to see instead of me pointing something in the air with the being able to see anything. Okay, so if I say he is in, he's from the masjid, for example. So the subject is he, because it is before is, isn't it? And we say he or whoa is proper, right? Because this one assume that there's actually this is second sentence. Maybe we say Ahmad is has just moved from whatever. Then he is from the masjid. You are referring back to Ahmad, for example. So now he is just connecting, right? So sorry,
Is it who I am?
hua, yeah. So he hua, right? From min, right? And then the masjid is al masjid jim. Hmm. Okay. Now the harfu jar is actually quite easy. The rule of harfu jar, any word, any ism that comes after harfu jar, it must be majrur. That's all. That's the only rule. Yeah, yeah. So you can see from the translation, you don't even have to remember that you need to add alif lam because well, the is there. So if you want to make something the masjid, instead of saying masjidun, you will say al masjidu. So to make from masjidun, something that is common to the masjid, you will say al masjidu, right? You're getting confused, but
No, I didn't get you.
so okay. Forget about this one first. What I'm trying to get at is that I'm trying to kind of build the step, I suppose. So first thing is that the word masjid is masjidun, right? In order to make it the masjid, how do you change from masjidun to the masjid? Alif lam. You add alif lam to it. When you add alif lam to it, what else happened? You drop the tanween,
So
right?
this has to do with the lunar what?
No, no, no.
Okay, okay, I got you.
Kamri.
No, nothing to do with that as well. So the Qamariyah and the Shamsiyah word, that one I think most of you know how to read Quran. It's kind of coming natural anyway. I don't even remember which one is Qamariyah, which one is Shamsiyah, because naturally we know like if let's say something connected to the alif lam, let's say for example ash-shams, right? Um, yeah. So the al-qamar and ash-shams. You see, when I say ash-shams, I do not say al-shams. I say ash-shams, isn't it? That lam is actually not silent. Yeah, it's silent. So you drop it. So that's what Qamariya and Shamsiyah. I mean, this has nothing to do with that. So, are you getting that? Betul
No,
Quran?
no, absolutely. What was the rule again?
So,
if it
harfu jar,
follows jar, then
the ism that follow harfu jar must be majrur. That's all. That's the rule. So when it become majrur, it is already connected to the huruf jar, and it become jar majrur. It become phrase. Understand what I'm saying? So if you want to say in the fridge, I'm not sure whether you know fridge. Do you know fridge? Yeah. So how do you say in the fridge? Fifth, fifth salah. I wanna hear the last. Fi. Fifth salah jadi, right? So if you want to say, let's say in the car, how do you say in the car? But there's like car, you know car? The word car,
Siyara.
sayaratun. Yeah. So in the car, not in car, in the car, how do you say? So first, how do you change sayaratun to the car? as-sayyaratu. Not tun, tu. You must drop the tanwin first. Yeah, as-sayyaratu. So that's done. One done. Now you are say fi. Now that you are adding fi in front of it, what must happen to the word sayyara? Majrur. So what will be the word? Fi? Fi sayyara? No, tu. Tu is marfu. Majrur. How to make it majrur? Kasrah. Majrur is kasrah, right? Fi sayyarati. Okay? Make sense? But the Khuram, you want to say on the table. How do you say on the table?
على المكتب.
Ala al-maktabi. Very good. I think the rest, no need. You should know already, right? So,
The master. He's the master.
the king.
Rainbow.
The rainbow. Okay, I'm going to go back to the slide, okay? So, sorry? You got a question?
No, no, no.
Okay.
This way.
So, the Harful Jar that we will learn in, the Huruful Jar that we will learn in book 1, there are 5 of them. The one at the top here. There are more than that. There's like 17 of them that I know. But in the book 1, there's these 5. So, ila, which is to, on, this ala on the table just now. Fi, that we have doing the fi in the car, in the fridge. And then from, min. Li, we'll talk about, or la, we'll talk more about this in Muta Vilayh. I'll talk more about that later on. For now, just know that this is one of the Harful Jar as well.
What's that? Which? Lee?
La, la. The last one?
Yeah, the last one.
La.
Oh, okay, like.
4. It means 4. Yeah. Possession. But I'll talk more into that in the Muda Vilayh because that makes more sense to talk about that there instead of here. But Harful Jar, for now, just remember min, fi, sorry. That's the way that I memorize it another way. But yeah, so it's min, fi, ala, ila. The way that I memorize is ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. So that's how I remember it. But yeah, just
What was that?
you listen back to the recording. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. So
Is it commonly used only 10?
11 about that in Quran, because I learned from Bayinah as well. So Bayinah only focus on the one that have been mentioned a lot in the Quran. So that's how I memorize them. So ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. So okay, so that's basically
Can you explain Jumla Ismiya? Jumla Ismiya?
Jumla Ismiyah. Okay, so Jumla Ismiyah, there are 2 components. What do you remember about the components? Just to see where you are. And
No,
then
the only I can just make up it's the group of names. Jumla is a group
no, Jumla is sentence.
sentence.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's
yeah.
a sentence of nouns.
Sentence of nouns. Yes, yes. So what are the? Were you here when we did explain? Actually, anyway, what do you have in mind right now when we say Jumla Ismiyah? What are the components that you know in Jumla Ismiyah?
There's 4 components.
No. Not talking about the components of or properties of an ism. I'm talking about the components of a sentence. I'm not talking about the properties of ism. Talking about a sentence. What must a sentence have?
What to make the sentence?
Yeah, in order to make a sentence, what do you need? Subject, yes, which is in Arabic
Mubtada.
Mubtada. And what else do you need in a sentence? Khabar, which is in English
News.
news or information.
Information.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the 2 components of a Jumla Ismiyah, Mubtada and Khabar. Now for Mubtada, what can you recall? What must Mubtada has?
Yeah, so yeah, it has to be proper noun.
Proper nouns,
It
correct?
has to be proper.
Yeah.
Singular.
Not always singular. Not always.
So it has to be.
It must be marfu. Yes.
It has to be one for.
It must be proper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically it. It can be plural. It can be masculine, single, or feminine. That doesn't matter. But it must be marfu. It must be proper. So that's mubtada.
Okay.
Now the khabar. What's the rule for the khabar?
Must follow
Must follow in terms of.
in terms of proper.
No.
In terms of
Remember the 4 properties. Okay. So the sentence must follow. Yes.
so, yeah, and then it must follow the number,
Number.
the
Last one.
the gender.
Gender. That's all.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow the type because khabar is actually common.
Okay.
You don't have to follow the type. So out of the 4, the only thing that you don't have to follow is the type. Make sense?
Yeah.
So an example that we have been doing just now, al-qalamu maksurun. Al-qalamu is proper, isn't it? Because I have alif lam,
Yeah.
right? It's marfu. Is it marfu or not?
Alamu
Is marfu, right? So it meets the category of being a mubtada already, and it's the beginning of the sentence as well. Now maksurun. So number, is it singular? It meets, right? It meets the same number, and then the type is marfu, right? Then the gender, is it a female word or a masculine? It's a male, right? So it match. So now it can become the khabar of the al-qabu.
No, the issue is I never understood. When you say Mubtada, I understand.
Mm.
But then when you say Jumla Ismiya,
No, it's the same. Jumlah ismiyah is just mutada plus. So if you go back into the PowerPoint just now, where am I? That one at the top. Not sure whether you can see it, but mutada plus khabar. You can look at the slide. Yeah. So mutada plus khabar is the jumlah ismiyah.
okay, that's what I need to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I need.
Yeah, it looks like you understood what is mubtada and what's khabar, and what's the rule of mubtada and what's the rule of khabar, so should be okay.
No, I just didn't know
What Jumla Ismiya is. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Can you go back to the list of Fajr?
Leave off Jar, yeah, sure. Which one?
The first one, that I swear by.
Yeah,
Is it? It is Wa, right?
B. Huh?
No,
Which
the
one?
first
Sorry?
First one.
Wow. You know the first one I swear by?
I swear.
This one?
From
Oh, this one, this one. Wow, yeah, yeah. Yeah. For example, Wallahi. I swear by the name of Allah. It's not an Allah. When you say Wallahi, you're not saying an Allah. You're saying,
So
I
if it
swear.
comes with the noun,
Not always. This is more complete. It's a complex subject.
does Wa come in the middle and or
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
and?
Yeah, it can be an as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. So how
No,
do you
no.
know?
Not for this lesson. But an example, that easy example is Wallahi, isn't it? I swear by Allah. And it's Wallahi. Why is it he? Because it is Hafujar. Wa is, in this case, is Hafujar. Wallahi. Not Wallahu. Wallahi.
Is there any other definition? Wal asri. Wal asri.
Yes, Wal Asri. It's actually re, isn't it? Wal Asri, yeah, exactly. So it's swearing by the time. Al-Arif. Salam. So that's an example as well. Yeah, good one, yeah. Any question? 9:40. 18 minutes left.
I didn't understand this. I swear by what proposition.
I'm just sharing, but so now the good example that Brother Isra gave just now in Wal Asr. So this wa here, what can mean a few things. So wa for the Hafujar, the wa that we're talking about is the one that means I swear by. Wa can also mean and, right? Wallahi as an example. That's why it's Wallahi, it's not Wallahu, it's not Wallaha, it's Wallahi because it's Hafujar.
So
Yeah.
what is Afujar then?
Not always, but in that case,
In this
the
case,
meaning of the wa there is I
yeah.
swear by Allah. Wallahi, right? So it's not Wallahu or Wallaha.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of things that we actually,
Well, make it jar, make it
yeah,
majroor.
you make it majroor. Yeah, Wallahi is an example. But don't worry about that. I'm just sharing for information. But for book one, it's just the one at the top.
So total there are like 17.
Yeah.
And in Quran mainly 11 are used.
Yeah, maybe 11. Yeah. Any question? Okay, Brother Osman, okay. Kita tak khabar.
Because they're talking about the Wawil Kasam. Yes, what is swear by Bismillah, Wa,
That's right. Yeah.
and Islam was talking about Wal Asri.
Yeah.
It's all about the swear. Wawil Kasam. It's another subject.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I don't want to go into too
Allah
much.
also,
Yeah.
but that is only for Allah.
Yeah.
Ta is even stronger than wa. Tallahi. That's even stronger than wa. But again, not really a topic for today. We're just sharing.
Is it like that? Wallahi, billahi, tallahi?
Something like that. Wallahi. What's the? Forgot the full one. Wallahi wa billahi wa tallahi. I can't remember the full sentence, but yeah, tallahi is one of it as well. When you want to make a, call that what's the word for it? Forgot. But yeah, there's a
You
song.
mentioned we will do some ayahs of Surah Fatiha.
Inshallah. Yeah. But then one we have to cover all of the phrases first, otherwise then it won't make sense. Because there's a not man'ud, there's a mudawwad ilayh, a furjar as well.
Yes.
So all of those in the first three sentences.
So when you see practical application, feel good.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
you're not learning.
Yeah. And that's why I like when I learned through Bayina, because it actually show you this is how.
Some
Then
of their lessons actually. But
Yeah.
then I answered live. I couldn't find the time. That's why. I did it in Saudi.
But that's all right. That's all right. But yeah, I'm sharing basically what I'm sharing here is kind of what I took from Bayina as well here and there. Some from Bayina, some from Shayu. So I'll just combine everything into into this slide.
So they have that Arabic with Husna,
Yes, yeah, the other one, yeah.
and there is another one directly for adult, right?
There's another one as well, yeah. Okay. I think it's not wise to start with a new lesson. So what I'll do, I'll just go into the book 1, lesson 4, and we'll go through some exercise in there. There's my mouse. Okay. All right. Let's do that easy translation. I'm hoping because I think most of you, especially Badr Osman, has already done like 90,000 point in the Memorize app. So I'm on page 28. 28. Lesson 4.
Sitting on a throwing mat.
But the writing is on book.
Sorry.
So you put all the
Brother Shah, what's happening with the 3-1? 3 we done, that's it?
3 is just the column. We're just adding alif lam to make it proper. That's pretty much it. There's not much other than the Qamariyah and the Shamsiyah as well. Other than that, there's not much for lesson 3. So lesson 4, let's do the very quick exercise. So what's the translation of this first one? Maybe we'll start with what the Zubayr. Just do a very quick translation for this one. Huwa fil ghurfati. What's the meaning?
He is in the room.
He is in the room. Why is it ghurfati instead of ghurfatu or ghurfata?
Because of Harf Jarr makes it majroor.
Yes.
So anything comes after Jarr, any word becomes majroor.
Yes, very good. Very good. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
This is
Refreshing the old.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to this one. Maybe Brother Sahib translate this one. Hiya fil matbakhi. No, hiya.
Oh, she is in the kitchen.
She is the kitchen, because the question is actually wa aina aminatu. It's asking where is Amina and where is Amina. Then the answer is she is in the kitchen. And what is matbakhi? First of all, why is it doesn't have tanween? Why is it matbakhi instead of matbakhin or matbakhun, or why does it have tanween? Sure?
Al-Mafru,
Because
Majru.
no. So the thing right now, the only thing that we have learned that makes something doesn't have tanween is it has alif lam. When something has alif lam, making it proper, you also have to drop the tanween. That's why it's not matbakhin, it's matbakhi, because alif lam in front of it. Okay, so al matbakhi, you cannot say al matbakhin. That one definitely wrong. Yeah, here feel matbakhi. Disaster. She used to always say that. If we say matbakhun, al matbakhun, disaster. Maybe Brother, it's too easy for Brother Kuram. We'll find it difficult. Okay. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Brother Kuram, translate this one, and then yeah,
Which one?
this one, number 3.
3. Aina Fajiru.
Mm.
Where is the merchant?
Where is the merchant?
Huwa fil Dukhani.
Mm.
He is in the shop.
Yeah. So
Mashallah.
why is it?
Matching.
So why is it tajiru instead of tajirun?
Because it's a prop.
Yeah, it's proper. It's a alif lam in front of it. So because it's proper, it dropped the tanween. Yeah, and it is still marfu. Well, no, let's talk about that. I think This is going to confuse you guys. So huwa fi dukani. So again, it doesn't have tanween because because you have alif lam. Basically, because it's alif lam in the front, then that's why we have to drop the tanween. Yeah, and then it's dukani, it's dukanu or dukana because afuja. Okay. Maybe who else? But the Rosman number 4.
No worries.
No voice.
Voice line.
Easy one. Number 4. Translation.
The pen is on the table.
Okay. Which one is Mubtada?
Third is
Mubtada.
Mubtada is al-qalam.
Al-Qalamu. Right? And then the khabr is actually al-Maktabi.
Al-Maktabi.
So we mentioned just now very briefly when we say about Mubtada and khabar, khabar can be a word or it can be a phrase, isn't it? So now we are starting to see that this al-Maktabi is actually a phrase, it's actually a khabar. You're talking about the column. What about the pen? The pen is on the table. So on the table is a phrase by itself. And then al-qalam is just a word. It's connected by is. Right? The pen is on the table. On the table phrase, the pen is in between. Make sense? Okay. Let's keep a few people. But who said? Number 5. Number 5.
أين زينب؟
Hmm.
هي في الغرفة.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Zainab?
Hmm.
She's in the room.
It's in the room. Hopefully you know the answer to this. Why is it Zainabu instead of Zainabun? We haven't learned in these lessons, but we have learned with Sheikh. I think you were there when we learned with Sheikh. Yeah, you were there. Why is it Zainabu?
I don't know.
Not sure. Who knows why is it Zainabu?
Female name.
Female name.
Mamnu
Mamnu min as-sarf. So Zainabu. So Zainabu, it is singular. It's not without the domatain. It's just a doma because it's mamnu min as-sarf. Feminine name. Feminine name is mamnu min as-sarf. Remember? So feminine name cannot have tanween.
Yeah, so what's the original of Zainab?
It's just Zainab. Zainabu. It cannot be Zainabun because it is a feminine name, and feminine name cannot have tanween.
Any feminine name.
Mm.
Except obviously there's a couple that are exceptions.
Yeah,
But generally, okay.
yeah, generally. Like for example, Hindun can be Hindun
Yeah, that's
because of the exception. But we will learn about that.
Fatima. Maybe
Fatima too.
Aisha.
Aisha too. No, Aisha tun. Fatima too.
And mamnu min as-sarf means
Mamnu min as-sarf means that it cannot have tanween and it cannot be majrur. It cannot be kasrah as well. It cannot have kasrah.
something cannot have kasra.
Hmm.
Something cannot be cannot have tanween.
Hmm.
Then you call it mamnu min as-sarf.
Well, we will talk about that. There's a couple of categories of mamnu min as-sarf. But basically, if something is mamnu min as-sarf, then it means that it cannot have tanween. And when it is majrur, it is not kasrah. It's actually fathah.
Okay.
But we will talk about that later. And yeah, just a quick revision for. So, actually, this one might be good way to introduce to Brother Sahib and Brother Khurram as well. So, I think we learned that in the next lesson probably, but we actually no, never mind. We'll talk about that later. I'm just don't want to confuse you with like 6 minutes left. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Few more minutes. Maybe, but the Arif, the next one, number 6. Ain al waraku.
The paper.
Mm-hmm.
هو المكتبي.
Uh,
On the table.
it is on the table.
Yeah.
So huwa here is it, right?
Yeah.
And why is it huwa instead of here?
It's
But muzakkar about what? What is this, what it is referring to? Yeah, warakun. It's referring back to the warakun, which is a masculine word. That's why it's huwa instead of here. If let's say you want to say aina sayyaratu, for example, where's the car? You don't say huwa. you reply back with hiya, because you're referring back to the car, which is a feminine word. But we'll talk more about feminine in the next lesson, inshallah. For now, for you guys, it's mainly masculine. Ala Maktabi. Maktabi because? Yep, because of Abu Jarrah. So when something is Abu Jarrah, the ism after it become? What's the status of the? You got it just now. I'm just like asking you the other way. It's the same one.
Is
Like Marfu.
Yeah.
this is
Majrul. So something Abu Jarrah, ism followed by a Abu Jarrah must be Majrul. Okay. Yeah. What else? Isra. Number 7.
مدرسي where is that
Mudari.
مدرس.
That's not Mudarisi.
هو في الفصل
That's Mudarisu.
مدرس
Yeah.
where is the teacher
Hmm.
هو في الفصل he is in the class
Yeah. He is in the class. Then Brother Ali, number 8. Whatever.
أين ياسر is ياسر هو في الحاصل is in the toilet.
Hadi. Yeah. Whatever.
Because we kind of knew that you could ask me number 8.
Oh.
he counted it
Because I skipped them.
It was random.
very smart got 1 2 3 4
Alright. So that's basically the lessons for today. Have like 4 minutes left, so I think I'm gonna stop there. As usual, there will be homework. I already prepared the question. It's more question this time because we have more days. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention. What I'm thinking, because right now on Mondays we don't really have a fixed class as yet. I'm thinking if let's say we want to do like a informal one, it's optional attendance. You don't have to come if you are busy or whatever, and if you don't have any question, you don't have to come as well. But if in case that you want to review the homework or like have any questions, then maybe we can use Monday as well. I don't know what you guys think.
We don't waste time.
Hmm. Hmm. So inshallah I'll be here anyway inshallah on Monday. So if you want to review, I'm not gonna do all the setup because so many things to set up. But
Informal.
informal one, yeah, optional attendance. But yeah, maybe we review like for the more senior one, we can review even like numbers, for example, in book 2. It doesn't have to be like whatever that we have learned for these last 2 lessons. We can review whatever that we wanna review inshallah. Right. Jazakumullah khair.
We can do a bit of Quran review as well.
Yeah, we can too. Yeah, we can maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Maybe like the first 20 minutes or half an hour, and then after that Arabic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a good idea too. Yeah. We see how it goes. See how many people. If let's say there's many, and yeah, we can discuss inshallah. I think that's what we do on Monday. Because what I'm thinking, instead of having like a formal class, I think what we need to do is more practice actually. Like if we have Sheikh Abdul Aziz come on Monday as well, it's just going to fasten the thing, and we still struggle with the pronunciation anyway. So I think we need more practice instead of
Did you put that app, the
Iqra Pro. No, I didn't. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب
someone
إليك.
recommended that we like Friday